Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh, Shemel, Shabbat, Shem, Kakodah, Shalom to the 144,000, and the rest of the elect up there, Shalom to you all. Okay, I'm going to title this video, Christians are guilty of taking away from the Bible. As you can see up here, this is going to be a response. What I tried to do was make a copy of this, video copy with the real player, which is right here, real player. And it kept saying unable to upload. Sometimes when you put a video up fresh, you might have to wait a couple of days. It was put up, when I first saw it, it was maybe 20 minutes ago. And anyway, the reason why I entitled this video, once you see this video, you'll see why I gave it this title, Christians are guilty of taking away from the Bible. Because a lot of them, they'll go into the go-to Bible with a lot of these Christians is the King James Bible. Now you got vocab that kind of criticized us for only going into King James, and basically he made us go into other versions. Okay, let's go into other versions. And some of these versions of the various Bibles, they explain that the wording is a little bit different, but it gives a better explanation of the scripture. It gives it in a different group of words. It's like we go to NLT a lot, we go to GNT, we go to Amplified. You got all these different versions. So thanks to vocab, we go into these other. We wouldn't have did that if it wasn't for him. So you gave us more weapons, you gave us more tools. So anyway, one of their arguments is that they don't go by the Apocrypha. Now, these other Christian groups like the Protestants and Calvinists, which are Protestants, Lutherans, which are Protestants, even the what's the Church of England? What's the damn? There's a term. Now, is Episcopalian? I forget the name of the church. In the official church in England, they all stem from the Roman Catholic institution, Roman Catholic church system. So when they protested the Roman Catholic Church, they took out certain things and they took out certain books. So they took out 14 books of the original King James. So they're guilty of Revelation 22, verse 18 and 19, adding to the book and taking away from the book. If you take away from the book, your name shall be taken out of the book of life, or the Lamb's book of life, redacted, in other words. If provided that your name is in the book. If you're a heathen, your name is not in the book. The names in the Lamb's book of life are the Israelites and the ones that are the elect. So guess what? The Lord ain't dealing with y'all guys because you don't even deal with the original King James. That, like I said, that's your go-to book. So anyway, I'm going to let this video play. And you're going to hear me first, and then the elder's going to expound on it. Because I didn't want to go all deep into it, but he expounded on it by going into the word Apocrypha. I mean, if you put in Apocrypha in the Google or even in AI or the chat, it'll give you the history. So here we go. So this is a short one, 16 minutes, and I'll say a few things as the Spirit leads me. But he just took it, he went further into it. He focused on the word Apocrypha, which I didn't. I just focused on the fact that there was originally 80 books. As a Christian, how many books are in the Bible? And they'll say 66, if they know that much. If they say 66, I'll tell them, look, there's actually 80 books. A lot of them don't even know the history. A lot of them don't even know the King James Bible. If they deal with the King James, what's the year that the King James was published and given to the people. They'll say 1611. Nope. The first book was written in 1604, and they had to, for 7 years, they had to go back and revise the book. The original King James was 1604. You had other Bibles, versions of the Bible written before King James. You had the, for example, the Geneva Bible, 1560, and another one in 1590. And they translated that into the English. I guess the Geneva was also written in English. You had a couple of different books that were written around a time, give so many years apart from the King James. So the King James is pretty much an official book. But you have the Geneva, you have this other one, I can't even think of it. There's a couple of books. You have the Vulgate, which is the Latin version. Anyway, let me go ahead and just let it play. Esau is bugging the fuck out. They're fucking out. They're demonic. I'm watching this. I don't even know what the hell this is. I'm watching Alex Jones on Roku TV, but I got the sound off. But they showing some bugged out stuff. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's go. Okay, there you go. I didn't get the chance to put Apocrypha. The original 1611 actually was 1604. That's the original. Took another 7 years to redo it, to not get out, to what do you call it, proofread it. They had to change certain things. So if you got a 1604 compared to a 1611, be a lot of changes. So it took them 7 years to get it right. And then King James made a statement, this is not a perfect translation. That's what King James said. The original 1611 King James Bible, KJV, contained 80 books, not 66. Well, you got 66, 66, 76, yeah, 80. Right, you have 14 books in the Apocrypha. The original 1611 King James Bible, KJV, contained 80 books, including the standard 66, 39 Old Testament, 27 New Testament, plus 14 books of the Apocrypha placed between the Testaments, along with family trees, genealogies, and translators' notes, which were later gradually removed in subsequent printings, especially by the 19th century, leaving the 66-book version most common today. So had these theological cemeteries said, oh, we're going to deal with the original King James. When you say you got the King James, the original King James contained 80 books. That's a topic right there. That's a topic right there.
All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the apostles and elders of GMS. Shalom to the hopefully elect. This quick video is going to be entitled The Original King James. The original 1611 King James had 80 books. Okay, 80 books, not 66. And this is going to be a response to what Apostle Tahar said here in this video. I was watching it, listening in, and he did a response to the elder brother Karatazar from GMS Vegas, who did a video about, it was a response to Hebrew Israelites. I forget what it's called. Hebrew Israelites can't handle the truth, something like that. He was responding to this idiot, that dude Dwayne preached the gospel, right? He had a debate with some weird Israelite. Anyway, Apostle Tahar's video is entitled Christians Will Never Argue About the Prophecies. And at about the 10-minute and 57 mark, the apostle said he was going into, he was looking up something on AI overview. All right, let's actually go to it if we can. And I actually looked up that same information. And it said that right here, is it here? Anyway, he was going into a portion, and you heard the clip where it talked about the Apocrypha that the Bible had 80 books. Okay, that the Bible had literally 80 books. Right? And we're going to actually see that. But first, I want to show you something. Because the apostle said that's a topic right there. That's a topic right there, right? All right, so when you look up, we use this sometimes online, the 1611 King James Version, right? When you go to it online, if you click this middle button, it says KJV 1611. When you click that, that's like the page you'll see. And it lists all the books, right? It's got the Old Testament and it's got the New Testament. Then down here, it's got Apocrypha. Now, beside this word Apocrypha right here, you'll see over there, real light, this over here says, what is this? So when you click on that, what is this? Let's read what it says. Apocrypha. The Apocrypha is a selection of books which were published in the original 1611 King James Bible. These apocryphal books were positioned between the Old and New Testament. It also contained maps and genealogies. The Apocrypha was part of the KJV. What? The Apocrypha, let me bring it over here. The Apocrypha was a part of the KJV for 274 years until being removed in 1885 AD. A portion of these books was called deuterocanonical books by some entities, such as the Catholic Church. Many claim the Apocrypha should never have been included in the first place, raising doubt about its validity and believing it was not God-inspired. For instance, a reference about magic seems inconsistent with the rest of the Bible. So,
magic just means miracles or spiritual power. The Lord performed magic. Magic just means spiritual power. That's all it means.
So these people think that because they're finding reasons why they don't think that it's consistent with the rest of the Bible, which that was just, wisdom from one of the angels, right? And other spiritual power was used because Yahweh shall use spiritual power. We may get a scripture on that. It says Tobit 6. Let me go back and read that again. Believing it was not God inspired, for instance, a reference about magic seems inconsistent with the rest of the Bible. Tobit chapter 6, verses 5 through 8. Others believe it is valid. Doggone it. Right here. Others believe it is valid and that it should never have been removed, that it was considered part of the Bible for nearly 2,000 years before it was recently removed a little more than 100 years ago. See, so the Apocrypha is part of the Bible. And it was in the Bible for, before 274 years before being removed, but it said it had been in the Bible for nearly 2,000 years.
Yeah, because some Edomite so-called scholars got together and said, no, that's not a part of it. That's why they have this thing. They just make up shit. But this is why we do not want to talk to a Christian. Christians bugged out. They're completely bugged out, man. They're like vocab. He said this. Where it is, you didn't find it. He had made a statement that the 144,000 are not Israelites, and the multitude in verse 9, Revelation 7 verse 9, are not Israelites, that they're the body of believers of any nation. And then he said the reason why we know that is because Dan is not mentioned in Revelation 7, and Ephraim is not mentioned in Revelation 7. So therefore that means they're not the Israelites. The word there is Joseph. Is interchangeable. Matter of fact, let me do this. You know me. Let me just go to Revelation. See, everything that you Christians give us, we study. Everything that you come up with, the terminology that you use, the terms that you use. So in Revelation 7, Okay, let me do this. Do it this way. Okay, so they mentioned the tribes, right? Of the tribe of Zebulun was sealed 12,000. The tribe of Joseph was sealed 12,000. So you know what I'm gonna do? Let me do this. Let me do it this way. Should I go to Google or should I go to the chat? Let's go to the chat. What does Joseph mean in this the tribe of Joseph? Let's see what's Revelation. The mention of the tribe of Joseph signifies a bit significant and a bit unusual because Joseph himself was not normally counted as a tribe in Old Testament tribal lists. Here's what it means. Joseph usually represents two tribes. Joseph had two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. It actually represents Ephraim because he became the more significant of the two, even though Manasseh was the oldest. Why Joseph appears in Revelation 7. Manasseh is listed by name. That's right. Ephraim is not listed. Instead, Joseph appears, which most scholars understand as standing in for Ephraim. So it's talking about the AI is telling you that that Joseph is interchangeable with the tribe of Ephraim because Joseph was not a tribe. Joseph was the son of Jacob, Yaquab. Ephraim and Manasseh were grandsons, but they became two of the tribes. So now let's come back over here. Where are we at? Where are we? Okay, here we go. Let me X this out. Hey, the Spirit's on us like the Spirit was on Ezra and the men that were writers. That they drunk the water with fire in it, and they just kept writing. They kept writing. And that's when Ezra had a lot of visions. And the Spirit jumped on him. So the Spirit is on us to make videos. We'll sit in front of the computer and make videos all day. We don't say, oh, we did 2 videos, that's enough. No, Spirit's on you to do 10 videos, you're going to do 10 videos. So there's no excuse for the people out there. And we go over things over and over again. We sound like a broken record because the scriptures that we go through hit home. And you can't say, well, I didn't know. Well, wait a minute. There was 50,000 videos put up by GMS alone. So you didn't watch the videos? That's why your ass ain't going to make it. Let's move on. This is a short one.
Before it was recently removed a little more than 100 years ago. Some say it was removed because of not finding the books in the original Hebrew manuscript. Others claim it wasn't removed by the church, but by printers to cut costs in distributing Bibles in the United States, which the Elder Apostle Harper's going into the Biblical Destruction Group. It says both sides tend to cite the same verses that warn against adding or subtracting from the Bible. Revelation 22:18, it says the word apocrypha means hidden. Fragments of the Dead Sea Scrolls dating back to before 70 AD contain parts of the apocrypha in the Hebrew, including Sirach and Tobit. Keep in mind when reading the apocrypha, keep this in mind when reading the following apocryphal books. Martin Luther said, apocrypha, that is, books which are not regarded as equal to the Holy Scriptures and yet are profitable and good to read. Anyway, showing you how these devils operate. They telling you that the apocrypha was part of the Bible, but then they give you reasons why they think that.
And this is not secret knowledge that the elder has. You just looked up something. He went to the Google, then from the Google he went to the scriptures, the King James, and all the books. The part where they had the which is this site right here. This site right here. King James Bible Online.org, O-R-G, which contains the Apocrypha. And then when you go to the Apocrypha, it'll say, why is the Apocrypha a part of the original Bibles? You click on it and you get that information. And that's basically what he did. How do you guys get all this information, this vast information? Well, we'll Google it. We'll go to DuckDuckGo, which a lot of us used to do. Or you go to the chat and you just get that information. I was going to some concerning Revelation 17 and 16 is trending, and it forced me to put in the word NATO and the EU, gives you the origins, and we link it all together through the scriptures. These Christians don't. If you go to Revelation 17 and 16, where it speaks about the, matter of fact, let me go ahead and read it so I don't botch it up. Let me go ahead and read it. Sorry, let me do this. Okay, Revelation 17. So I don't botch it up. And the 10 horns which represent NATO and the EU. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, America, Babylon, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Those are the missiles. So when you go to a Christian and ask them to explain it, they have no idea that this has anything to do with NATO and or the EU and or America. They have no idea. They're clueless. Anyway, so you can ask them that. Say, okay, you know the scriptures, you know all the scriptures, you know Revelation. Okay, what does Revelation 17 and 16 mean? Break that down. Exegete that. Almost finished.
That it shouldn't have been when Elder Pastor Hart said that's a topic. Now, he went into the 66 books of the original, 66 books that we currently have now, but also those 14 from the Apocrypha. You can look at them and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And the books of 1st and 2nd Maccabees count as one book. So that's 14 books altogether equaling 80, just as he was talking about. And he said that's a topic. Now, let me see here. I had looked it up. Right here. How many books were part of the original 1611 KJV Bible? The original 1611 King James Version Bible contained 80 books. And they know that, including the standard 66 Protestant books, 39 Old Testament, 27 New Testament, plus 14 books of the Apocrypha, placed between the Testaments which were considered useful, but not canonical scripture by the translators. Modern Protestant KJV Bibles usually have 66 books because publishers removed the Apocrypha, a practice that became common in the 1800s. Then it gives you the breakdown of the 80 books. Old Testament 39, Apocrypha 14, New Testament 27. See that? So, Elder Pastor Hart, right on the money. As always, if you go type in this Apocrypha right here, the Apocrypha refers to ancient Jewish writings, which, there's no such thing as Jewish. Ancient writings of the Jews like Tobit, Judith, and 1 and 2 Maccabees written during the intertestamental period between the Old and New Testaments. They aren't in the Hebrew Bible, but are included in some Christian Bibles, Catholic Orthodox, known as Deuterocanonical books. You see, and we read all that. So you got the history right there. And as Apostle Hart said, that's a topic right there. That's a topic right there. That's why I gave you that. But when you go here to this, if you just type in 1611 King James Bible or 1611 KJV Apocrypha, you'll get this. And like I said, when you go type in that middle 1611, it brings this up. And you just go over here beside Apocrypha. What is this? And you type that. And it gives you that whole rundown. So these devils are caught. Now first, let's get spittle. I got spittle in clay. Let's see if that comes up. Because they talking about, okay, that's all right. Let's see if we can get this with the clay. Because Yahweh Shai, see, they saying that, let's see here. Scales. Let's put in scales. Come on, man. Just bear with me here. And let's actually go to, I got to look it up. But I want to read this scripture because they're talking about Jesus heals a blind man. A blind man. With mud. Yeah. Mark 8, John 9. Often using saliva and touch. Right? Let's go to John 9. If we can. John 9. And this is, like I said, this is a quick video, just a quick topic. Y'all bear with me here. So lock it. My fingers, John 9. Yeah, right here. So I'm gonna read this because I wanted to mention what they said right here with the right here. Many claim the Apocrypha should never have been included in the first place, raising doubt about its validity and believing it was not God-inspired. For instance, a reference about magic seems inconsistent with the rest of the Bible. Tobit chapter 6, verses 5 through 8. When you read Tobit 5 and 8, and we can actually go there now, they talk about when the angel, let's see here, Tobit 5, let's get it. Tobit chapter 5. Oh, is that what it said? Salakia. Tobit chapter 6, Tobit chapter 6, verses 5 through 8. Let's read it real quick. So the young man did as the angel commanded him, and when they had roasted the fish, they did eat. Then they both went on their way till they drew near to Ecbatane. Then the young man said to the angel, Brother Azarias, to what use is the heart and the liver and the gall of the fish? And he said unto him, touching the heart and the liver, if a devil or any evil spirit trouble any, Salakia, if a devil or an evil spirit trouble any, we must make a smoke thereof before the man or the woman, and the party shall be no more vexed. As for the gall, It is good to anoint a man that hath whiteness in his eyes.
Yeah, which that's in the Apocrypha. They took part of the fish. The whiteness of the eyes means what do you call it? Cataracts, which is a Greek word for graying of the eyes or whitening of the eyes, and that's acidic.
And he shall be healed, which is what? Which is blindness, right? So they're saying that's a reference to magic. That's inconsistent with the rest of the Bible. Is the reason why they saying that some people, they counted it as not God inspired. Right here they said a reference about magic seems inconsistent with the rest of the Bible, which is bullshit.
There's things that heal you in the plants and in the fish too. Because when I read that scripture years ago, I looked it up, and Esau went into it, and they said there's certain elements in the fish inside of the fish that can actually can it actually happen, and it can.
Because when you read here in John 9 and verse, right, verse 1 will start at. And as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Yahushua answered, Neither hath this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of the Most High should be made manifest in him.
That right there, that one scripture proves reincarnation. Because how can you sin when you're a baby? You're not accountable under the law until you hit 12 years old. So you can't commit a sin when you're a baby. You can't commit a sin in the eyes of the Most High. You're not under the law until you hit 12 years old. And why 12 years old? Why 12 years old? Let me do this. I already know the answer, but I was going through this. Well, this video, I couldn't put the video up about the flu. They said globally per year, up to almost 700,000 people die from the flu. So this C. Ragamuffin was just a regular flu, and they, oh my goodness, people are dying left and right. People die left and right every year of the flu worldwide. Anyway, I'm sorry. Where was I going to go? See, I forgot where I was going to go. Ain't this a bitch? Damn, where the fuck was I gonna go? I hate this. Let me come back. Let me come back.
Right? I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can.
It just came back to me. When does the sun come under the laws of the Bible? Let's see, put sun. Sun, I meant sun. Let me just phrase it another way. Why does a boy come under the laws of the Bible at 12? And it says 13, which is it's 12. Here it is. Why is a bat mitzvah or bar mitzvah, it means son of the covenant, at 12. Why is 12 the age for the bar mitzvah, which is the son of the covenant? In Jewish tradition, 12 is the age at which a girl is considered mature enough, their body changes, to understand. Well, yes, but their body changes, all right? And fulfill her religious obligations, marking her transition into religious adulthood. Why did it say? Why say a girl, not a boy? Why is 12 the age of bar mitzvah? Why did it mention a girl? Let me look this up. These guys get all emotional. Well, why are you always in the little 12-year-old girl? First of all, they're women. When a girl reaches the age of 12, she's a woman. Her plumbing is how can I say, she's mature, body-wise. Age 12 is significant in the Bible, primarily through the story of the Messiah at the temple. Luke. Now, why did he go from his parents? Because he was a man. He was 12 years old, which is the only biblical account of the Lord's childhood. The age of accountability. Let's look at that. Specific ages. Other people put the age of accountability at 12, since that was the age at which the Messiah began. No, it goes before that. It goes back to the law. Or 13, the age of Jewish bar mitzvah. They changed it to 13. It's actually 12. When you're 12, you become a man. That's when your body changes. And same things with a girl. Other groups accept the concept and age of accountability, but avoid putting a specific number on it. Yeah, because they're not the people. They're set up to bring confusion. Okay, let's look at this one. What age are children held accountable by the Most High? Meaning come under the law. There's no age. They don't understand the scriptures. Identify the scriptures. There was nothing. See, this is some BS. Anyway, let's come on back.
Can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. When he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay. And he said to him, go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. He went his way therefore and washed and came seeing. So let me ask you a question. If you think that the angel telling that young man what to do with the pieces of the, with the organs from the fish, right? And that he told him he could use the gallbladder or whatever it was to anoint a person's eyes and get rid of, make them see again. You think that's witchcraft? No, that's spiritual power. It's not witchcraft. That's just something that these devils used.
Well, it's a healer. It's just like herbs. There's certain things in the fish, that particular fish, that heals. There's certain they say that lions, right, if they lose a tooth, they gain the tooth back by eating the liver and the innards of an animal, because that's what they do. They, first of all, they don't cook. Obviously, they don't cook. If they catch a deer or a zebra or whatever, they'll eat the guts They'll eat the heart. They'll eat the lungs. And there's something in those organs that rejuvenate you. So that whole story with the fish in the book of Tobit was really, that the grain of the eye is really, what do you call it? This acidity, inflamed. There's a science to that. That ain't magic, it's science. But they call it magic or miracles. The smartphone that you have is magic. It's straight up magic. It's a miracle. Esau got spiritual power on the left-hand side. So you're going to get all, wait a minute, we got to take the whole book out. How about just taking out Tobit then? Most I ain't dealing with these Edomites.
Right? Because they want to touch the Bible, which also makes them guilty as well. Let's get Revelation. So I'm going to close out. I'm not going to stay on this long. I just want to touch on that. Revelation 22:18. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall...
I didn't know he was going to go into that, but that's a cut. I mean, I said it. I didn't know he was going to go into it, but good. He went into it. So we can tell the Christians, first of all, you don't deal with the whole book.
To these things the Most High shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, the Most High shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the whole...
They took away 14 books.
...city, and from the things which are written in this book. And that's one of the things that Esau is guilty of. Okay? He's very guilty of touching the Bible and taking portions out of it. Okay? As we told you, this man is the devil. So I'm going to go back, Lord willing, to watching more of this video from Apostle Tahar. You know, listen to the rest of it, you know, and I probably have to do it in more than one sitting, but that's it. This is that topic that he spoke about. All right. We'll see you soon with another lesson, Lord willing. All praise to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. The original KJV had 80 books.
Shalom, on to the next.